Are your players playing the game wrong? Well, I mean, not wrong. You don't want to be crazy here, but like worse than they should be, right? They're playing poorly. Not right. You need to fix how they're playing. You want to let's put a good spin on it. You're not trying to like they're not broken, but like they could be a little better, right? Hey everybody, it's Nick, and I have had bad players too. Here is how I fix bad players. Okay, right out of the gate, I gotta say a couple things here. First of all, there's not one right way to play D&D. I almost said there's no wrong way to play D&D, but there actually are some wrong ways to play D&D. I'll get into that later. Secondly, maybe you're asking, okay, Nick, but actually I do have some players that I think need some fixing. And yeah, there's not one right way to play, but surely I could get them to play, more right. Yeah? All right, fine. There is a way to do that, and I will tell you how I go about fixing is the wrong word, but yeah, improving players. So first point here, there's a lot of different ways to play D&D. There's a ton of different ways to have fun playing D&D, and it's okay if different players want to have fun differently than you as a DM do. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was sort of complaining about how his players never engaged in the game strategically. They didn't talk to each other, they didn't plan, they didn't coordinate, they basically had no tactics when it came to combat, and he was expressing frustration because he couldn't count the number of times they would win encounters just because someone rolled a natural 20, usually on a death save after the party was about to get wiped. And how they always seemed to complain about the fights as they were happening, but they never changed anything. And he kept kind of getting on their case and saying, guys, you're not planning, you're not strategizing. And then their retort after the session would be, yeah, you always say that, but we always win with flying colors, so why would we change anything? And so I asked him a question. I said, are they upset about the fights? You say they're mad about the fights, but that's in the combat. Are they mad about the fights after the fact too? No, they're not. So they're just expressing frustration over a challenge. They're not actually upset about the combats being too tactical or challenging. So the natural conclusion here is they're not doing anything wrong, and neither are you as a DM. They're playing fine, having fun the way they're having fun, and you like developing tactical combat, so everything seems okay here as long as everyone's having fun. So there's a lot of different right ways to play the game and have fun. It's okay if your style and your player style are a little bit different as long as everybody gets to do the things they want to do at the table and have fun. And that's where I want to harp on for just a second, the wrong ways to play D&D. If your fun comes at the expense of someone else's misery, you're a bad person, and you should fix how you play. And I know that comes across aggressively, but I'm kind of fine with it coming across aggressively. If you get enjoyment out of other people's misery, if your fun is picking at other players and putting them down and doing things that cause them to be miserable, and that's the fun for you, I have no hesitation in saying that's not a cool way to play. You should change that. Not to say that your group should excommunicate you and you should be beheaded. It's just a game, but also, that's not cool, bro. So lots of different ways to play a game. You can play a tactical combat-based game. You can play a role-play heavy game with lots of voices and characters, and you could do both at the same table. Different people can do both at the same table. That's fine. As long as everybody's having a good time, there are no problems to be had here. But the question still stands. How do you get great players who are engaged, who make interesting, not weird and crazy characters, who are grounded real characters, who take your game seriously, who role play with each other, who listen, who take notes, who pay attention, who care about the characters of the game, who are engaged, who know what they're going to do on their turn in combat, etc. How do you have great players? Well, good and bad players are born. Everybody, starts off as a good or a bad player, but great players are made. Ooh, that's a quotable fortune cookie kind of a saying. Good and bad players are born, but great players are made. What do you mean by that, Nick? Well, luckily, I asked myself the rhetorical question so that I could answer it. Great players are made by DMs positively reinforcing good things. If you like it when a player takes notes, call that player out at the table in front of everybody and say, wow, I'm really glad you took notes. You're really engaged. If a player knows what they're going to do on their turn, they do all the stuff, and you really appreciate that as a DM, say, man, I'm glad you had a really good plan there for your turn and you executed it quickly. Awesome. Next person's turn. If you really like it when players role play and engage with one another, after that scene, don't interrupt the scene, but after that scene happens, like, wow, I'm really glad you guys are able to role play with each other like that. That's really cool. When one player does something, Call them out positively. Positively reinforce them in front of everybody else. That is how socialization happens. That's how all socialization happens, and it's true in role-playing games as well. That feels good. We like it when other people say, what you just did was really good. We want to do more of that thing. We enjoy that feedback, that dopamine trigger that we get from other people telling us we're doing a good job. So that's it. It's a really, really simple tip. I hope this is a short, effective, punchy, useful video. That's all there is to it. You engage your players and say, that was really good. I like what you did right there. Do more of it. You don't even have to say the do more of it part. They'll just go, oh, cool. Nick really likes it when I dramatically describe my own action in combat, so he doesn't have to. I want to do more of that then. Fantastic. If you've had any sort of experiences with this, positive or negative, let me know in the comments. That sort of engagement really makes me want to make more videos. Obviously, this isn't my primary gig. That's why, sort of some of the production quality is not outstanding, but hopefully the advice quality is, because this is just sort of a side gig for me. I'm not really doing this for, the Patreon and all the crazy subscribers, but engagement, subscribers, comments, everything like that makes me want to make more videos. So if you enjoy content like this, if you enjoy my personality or my take or whatever, let me know, subscribe, just hit the like, it doesn't cost you anything, and I don't make videos that often, so I'm not going to spam you or anything, but it really encourages me, man, there's a bunch of people who are waiting on my videos, maybe I should make some more. So anyways, good and bad players are born, but great players are made. Go out and make your players great ones. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.